Hello, welcome to Page and Pint video update number 6. It's been a while. Last video I talked about an April TBR that I did not complete, but I did finish Lonesome Dove, which is all I'm going to talk about today. I finished another couple books in April, but I think there's so much to talk about with Lonesome Dove that that's all I'm going to talk about now. Today I have a non-alcoholic beer from Brewing, Disarm Hazy IPA. I've had a couple beers from Go. I had one of their flagship IPAs last year, and then I've got this order. I've tried this already. I also tried their grapefruit IPA. Yeah, let's try it. What it does right is it's a hazy IPA, super tropical, soft mouthfeel. All the hop notes are there. It's juicy, but there's like zero carb. It tastes very watered down, which I've noticed that in pretty much every non-alcoholic beer I've tried that's not athletic has that sort of watered down, something's missing sort of taste. And when there's no carb, it's just very transparent. I think the only other non-alcoholic breweries I've tried other than Athletic is Go and Best Day Brewing. And Best Day and Go both have the same thing where it's watered down tasting, but still solid. Their grapefruit IPA, I got that on this shipment too. It's also really good. It tastes like grapefruit juice, though. I wouldn't, calling it an IPA is a stretch. It's almost like grapefruit hop water or something with like not as much carbonation as a seltzer. All right, Lonesome Dove. This book took me a lot longer than I thought. This version is deceptive. It doesn't look as long as it is. It's like Bible pages, how thin they are, and font's tiny, and I'm making excuses. How do I want to start this? I brought notes because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. If you don't know anything about Lonesome Dove, it is a Western epic. It's renowned. Everybody loves it. I've been recommended it online a million times. It was intimidating to me. A friend of mine put together like a reading group, asked if I wanted to join. I'm glad he did, and that's what kind of started me to give it a go. We are introduced to Hat Creek Cattle Company in Lonesome Dove, Texas. You got Augustus McRae, Gus, you've got Call, they're former Texas Rangers who now are in Lonesome Dove hanging out. They've got like this crazy cast of characters there. The story is they decide to take a bunch of cattle up north on this epic journey to be sort of the first to establish in Montana. It feels crazy to try to simplify the book down to something like that. There are so many intertwining stories, and I sort of look, well, let's talk about spoilers for a second. I'm going to keep this completely spoiler free. That being said, I am going to talk about characters that aren't introduced until later in the book. So if you consider that a spoiler, I wouldn't watch. But I'm not going to reveal any like deaths or major plot points. I'm mainly going to be talking about characters. I've been thinking about how to talk about this book, and I break it down into sort of 3 main groups, and then there's like subgroups of plot that spans off from those 3 groups. The first group is the Lonesome Dove group, Hat Creek Cattle Company. The second group is Fort Smith, which is July Johnson and Roscoe. And you've got July's wife, I've already forgot her name, Melinda. He's got a wife that is there. And then later you get the Nebraska group, which is Clara and Bob and her 2 daughters, and then the people that end up involved in that story. All of these groups are their stories intertwine in various ways that is beautiful and exciting and heartbreaking, and you come to love these characters so much. The way he writes this is you sort of get introduced to them uh, almost from another character's perspective, and then a few chapters later or the next chapter you then sort of get more backstory on each character, if that makes sense, and you get a little bit of their perspective, and then you jump to this other group of people and you don't know how exactly their stories are going to intertwine. I can't say enough about how the pacing and the way these stories web together makes this book so much more digestible. That was like what kept me reading the entire time. I will say I loved the first, I would say, 200 to 300 pages. You get introduced to everybody in Lonesome Dove. I loved all that. I loved all the characters. And then I plateaued a little bit and hit a wall right around the time where they are about to leave for Montana. I felt a lull in the plot. And again, if there wasn't the hype around it, I might have DNF'd at that point. I'm so glad I didn't. But I kind of want to warn you, because if you're someone who hasn't read it and you hit that point, it's worth it to stick through. What else do I want to say about this book? I finished this book yesterday morning, and I already miss it, and I miss the characters, and man, you really feel like you're a part of something when you're reading this book. And I know that sounds a little bit psychotic, but yeah, when I was done, I thought I would be very relieved, because it is a long book, and I'm a reader who likes to kind of knock out, I like to try to read a book a week. I like to spice it up, and sometimes when I hit a long book, even if it's really good, I struggle with my attention span. So I thought when I got to the end of this book, I would be like relieved and want nothing to do with it forever. But ironically enough, like as soon as I finished this book, I already bought the book that comes after this, Streets of Laredo, and I was honestly tempted. Like I'm gonna wait, but I'm definitely picking that up this year, probably in the fall. I can't say enough good things about how these characters are written. It's hilarious. The book is funny, which I didn't expect at all. The dialogue between Gus and Call is, I haven't read dialogue like it. It's authentic and yeah, hilarious. I want to talk about two specific characters that I loved the most, and again, spoiler free, but Clara is such a great character, and I feel like she embodies just this like power, and how everybody is so intimidated by her, yet she's so pragmatic, and man, just a great character. And then Newt, who you fall in love with almost immediately. Newt is one of the he's the youngest in Lonesome Dove of the Hat Creek boys. He doesn't know who his dad is. His mother already died. Yeah, his journey is, I would say it's like, I would compare it to The Walking Dead if you've watched. I know the comics and the show are very different, but I think the original creators of The Walking Dead said that the whole show was about Carl. And I would say in a way that's what this whole book is about. He's a very central character in it. I don't know, I'm rambling at this point. Lori. Everyone's obsession with Lori. See, I don't know what, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to be spoilery. There's so many characters I want to talk about. I want to talk about Lori. I want to talk about Jake. That whole situation. This book has incredible villains. Blue Duck is just, you couldn't create a better villain in a book. My only piece of advice is to take it slow, don't rush, don't get intimidated. If you hit a lull, just power through. Shit, take 6 months to read it if that's more your speed. I took a break and read 2 other books throughout the course of reading this. I think that's all I've got. I am going to make another video maybe this weekend, because I've got a few books already finished. I'm probably going to finish 1 or 2 more this week. So yeah, maybe this weekend or next I'll do another update with additional books. All right, done rambling. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.